All Indiana Politics is your premier source for Indiana politics, focusing on issues that matter to you.
I still want us to be the best in the Midwest.
We can't afford another lockdown.
Give the citizens of this country the relief they need.
Education in the state of Indiana remains priority number one.
In-depth, nonpartisan coverage.
We don't know exactly where the economy will be in January.
People are worried with good reason.
Exclusive interviews with Indiana's political leaders.
We have the resources here in the state of Indiana to care for those who are in need.
Expert analysis on critical legislation.
We need to reform those laws.
This recovery is going to take some time.
We've got to anticipate that there'll be a budget shortfall.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
I'm Garrett Bergquist, government reporter for Wish TV and the producer of All Indiana Politics. Indiana Democrats have a new leader. Party insiders elected former state senator Karen Tallian as the new party chair earlier this month. Tallian takes control of a party that has not won any statewide elections since 2012 and has been rocked by two recent sexual harassment scandals involving elected officials or their aides. We talked about her plans to rebuild the party and appeal to new voters. And joining us now is the new chair of the Indiana Democratic Party, former state senator Karen Tallian. Karen, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Garrett. Nice to be here.
What is your vision for the Indiana Democratic Party?
My vision for the Democratic Party is that we need to put all of our people back together. We've been splintered for a bit over a number of issues, but I believe that what's going on in the Republican Party, especially at the national level, is going to give us an opportunity to bring a lot of people back. So my vision is we need to unite all of our people. The other thing is we need to get all of our people out to vote. Our voter turnout numbers, not only in Indiana but across the nation, have been pretty bad. When you consider that, we've sent our guys out to fight wars so that we can have a democracy, and then for people to take it for granted and not show up to vote is just not acceptable.
The Democratic Party last won a statewide election in 2012. It last won the governor's race in 2000 with the late Frank O'Bannon. How do you reverse that trend?
Well, I think we need to bring people back to the table. We all know that political thought moves in swings and in waves. I really believe that a lot of what's going on right now has become so disruptive, so awful on so many different levels, that we will get to bring people back. This is our opportunity to say, look, we're the party of working people and rational programs.
You've alluded to this already. There's a kind of a divide in the Democratic Party right now. There are some who want to move closer to the center and try to peel off disaffected Republicans, and then there are others who say the party is not far enough to the left. We need to put out some much more progressive policies. How do you reconcile those two camps?
Well, I'm no youngster to politics. I have seen during the course of my life that, a lot of times when you want change, there are the voices out there that are the far kind of on the edge for change, and they're often loud. And we need them because they attract attention to the issues. But then it's like driving a ship or moving a great big barge. You need some loud stuff at one end to slowly move the rest of the body in the direction you want to go. So I believe that there's a place for people on the far left of our party, but I don't believe that that's where the bulk of our party is. So I think we need to keep those people, listen to those voices, and then, the ship's going to turn, but it's slow.
There's some new polling out that suggests just 29% of American adults have a positive view of the Democratic Party nationwide. Has the Democratic Party's national brand damaged it here in Indiana?
Here in Indiana, I don't think so. Indiana's been moving red for a long time, but I think those numbers are going to change. I still have hope and belief that our message is going to get through when all of this stuff is going down in Washington. I mean, I looked at 7 headlines this morning about how the Trump administration wants to gut, tear apart Social Security. That's an issue that means a lot to a lot of people. But we've also got the national parks closing. I take a trip every year with my sister, and we go on a road trip to a national park, and Yosemite just shut down their campgrounds. One of the places that we wanted to go has a road washed out and no money to put it back together. All of the people who go to those campgrounds and with their RVs and their MAGA hats, they're not going to be happy. So I think we have an opportunity here to turn the message around.
How does the Indiana Democratic Party peel off disaffected Trump voters or centrists without alienating the party's progressive wing?
Well, I guess I'm going to find out in the next 4 years. Of course, that's what we need to do. I have long been a friend of labor, for example. I was on the labor committee and was the voice of labor in the Senate for the whole 16 sessions that I was there. I have a good friendly relationship with those people. Some of them have said to me, yeah, we've been away from the table for a while, but if you're in, we're back. So I believe that I can bring some of the leadership to the table, and then we're going to talk to them and find out how we reach their members. I think we can do this. I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't believe that the Democratic Party can do this.
We've had 2 sexual harassment scandals over the past few months that involved prominent Indiana, and specifically Indianapolis Democrats. We had former Chief Deputy Mayor of Indianapolis, Thomas Cook, faced sexual harassment allegations from some former staffers. We've had sexual harassment allegations against now former Senate Minority Leader Greg Taylor. What's your plan to head off future incidents?
I think that people need to remember, as the state party, we have our lane and our role. For example, I'm going to just say about Greg Taylor, the state party may issue a censure, may issue something, but it can't do anything. I mean, legislators who are accused of something, there's a process in the legislature. I know because I was involved in that when, I don't know if you remember when the whole Curtis Hill incident happened, both the Senate and the House had people that they appointed to a committee to make sure that we had a good, steady sexual harassment reporting program and a whole schematic of what people were supposed to do. I was on that committee. I helped write that. But reporting is one thing, and dealing with a state legislator is in a different, it belongs in the legislature. Now, like I said, the state party has put together an ethics committee. We've made sure that our sexual harassment policy in our own framework it has been revised, updated, and is pretty tight. So the answer to your question kind of depends on where the allegations are falling.
What else can we expect from you as the new party chair?
Well, we have a lot of nuts and bolts issues that we have to deal with. We've got a lease coming up due in about a year. We should get out of the location that we're in because it's too expensive. So we have nuts and bolts issues to deal with. I also we're putting together right now. You know, this is only my second day on the job, right? I just want you to know that. So we're putting together right now a whole series of town hall meetings that we're going to take to all the districts probably in the next couple months. We're putting together, Alex Nerenda, who is now the vice chair, is taking on a whole program dealing with a huge voter registration drive. There will be voter roll calls and cards that come out this year. So we need to do that. And we also need to find and try to identify all those people who identify as Democrat or, you know, lean Democrat, or people who did not come out to vote. So as I said, we need to get those people back and engaged.
Karen Tallian is the new chair of the Indiana Democratic Party. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
That was the new chair of the Indiana Democratic Party, Karen Tallian. Remember, you can watch All Indiana Politics every Sunday morning at 9:30, only on Wish TV. I'm Garrett Bergquist. Thanks for listening.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Watch All Indiana Politics live Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Wish TV and at wishtv.com. Subscribe to this podcast and listen weekly here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.